Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Film Fumblers podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the movie Back to the Future, released in 1985 and directed by Robert Zemeckis. So without further ado, I'm Adrian.
I'm Jay.
I'm Taryn.
And I'm James.
All right, so in regular Film Fumblers fashion, we're going to jump right into a shot. I think we're all doing Tito's this time.
Yes, sir.
Tito's vodka. Not a sponsor yet. I mean, cheers.
If you know someone, let us know.
Yeah. Ugh.
Wow.
It's not that bad. I don't like shooting vodka.
Shot glass was a little bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah.
But Tito's is smooth. It's like really smooth. That's
Yeah.
It's a good solid vodka.
It's a doozy.
What are we drinking on tonight? What do you guys got?
Open it up.
The classic. As my hand is right in the way. The White Claw.
Nice.
I actually have a vodka, so Tito's and White Claw with ice.
I have
Ooh.
a classic Mountain Dew and vodka.
Mountain Dew and vodka. Nice.
A
Delicious.
classic.
I got Utah Brewery Roosters honey wheat.
Okay. I'm sipping on a
Nice.
little old fashioned here. Been really vibing with the old fashions. It's a very simple drink. Okay. Back to the Future. Robert Zemeckis. Dude, I did not realize how many movies this guy has directed.
Yeah.
Every
dude.
time we do one of these episodes, I'm just like, all right, let's look up the director. And I'm just like, holy shit, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Romancing the Stone, like there's like a bunch of like big movies that I had no idea.
Yeah, I learned a
It was
lot
surprising.
doing this show. It's cool.
Yeah. Like 5 minutes before we record, we're like, really? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to
You
say,
know
you
what
guys
you do.
heard about it.
Yeah.
But it's still crazy.
Yeah. So let's okay. Who has seen this movie before we just watched it recently?
I've seen it, but I was probably like 10 or something.
Yeah,
so I don't
same.
remember most of it.
See, I thought I had seen this movie, but after I watched it just now, I was just like, I have never seen this movie. I've just know so much from the pop culture references that
Mhm.
I thought that I had seen it, but I literally have not seen
That's
this movie.
how I felt. That's like totally how I felt. I was
Yeah.
like, damn.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure I have seen it though. But like you said, there's like so
I
many
feel
of
like
these
it was in a
little
Master
things.
Pancake.
A
A
massive
Master
what?
Pancake?
A Master
Master-
Pancake at QuakeCon.
Oh,
Was it in
Oh,
one of those?
It sounds right, but I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
it's
for
been
those
a
of you who
while
don't
for
know,
me.
Master Pancake is this thing that they do at QuakeCon where you watch a movie and what is it? Like a couple of comedians kind of riff on the movie and
Talk over it, dub it.
yeah,
Dub it, and sometimes they do like a live performance. Like you watch the movie and then they come out
Oh,
on an
yeah.
actual stage and they
right.
do like a live performance of a scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really fun. Yeah, so this was first time watching it all the way through and man, I really enjoyed it. Like it's just a fun movie. It's so
Dude.
much fun, you know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
opening scene, we have Marty McFly, which is such a freaking cool name. Like
Yeah.
just like Marty McFly, like such an awesome name. He goes into Doc Brown's little science experiment. Well, before that even, you just see all of Doc Brown's creations.
Oh, the big old Rube Goldberg
Yeah.
experiment, or what's it called? Contraption.
80% of them don't work. And the 20% that do work don't work very well. It's just like so, you know, there's one that like dumps dog food and like has a can opener thing, and it's just really cool. And like the sound in this scene like really drew me in right away. Just like especially after Marty McFly's in there and he's like adjusting all the dials and the knobs and like all the futuristic sounds.
Yeah.
They're super cool, super fun.
Yeah, that opening scene really drew me in. I didn't really remember much of this movie, and so having it start that way, I was like, okay, yep, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and what they do this later in the film too, is they do like really like super simple foreshadowing, but again, it's just like I think this movie it's relatively simple. It's not like a super complex movie, but the types of like little foreshadowing that they do, like on the news, you see that there's like there's a story about plutonium that was stolen that they show on the news right away, and they're like, oh, like we're thinking that it could be terrorists, but then the lab says that it was just a miscount. So you're like, okay, plutonium's missing. Like, you find out later why that's missing and what's it's being used for. But
Yeah.
so cool. There's cool little nods to what's going to happen later.
That's so funny that you say. I mean, it's like, I guess the story is kind of simple, but like just the time travel in general is so complicated, and like this movie has always been touted as like not like perfect as in like it's like the best movie ever, but like there's no seams in this movie, like there's no like plot holes supposedly, like like it's really big on that. What do you got? What do you got?
Some plot holes there?
Because there's some that I saw that were fixed like pretty quick by
I don't know.
the writers.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really look into what the writers said about
like
this and that, but it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's just impressive that they did that, I guess. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I think
they took that much care, you know?
Yeah. The reason I say that it's such a simple, or like a relatively simple movie is like, so the main writer, the person who initially wrote the story, or had the concept for the story is Bob Gale, and he co-wrote it with Robert Zemeckis. But Bob Gale got the idea from, he was going through a yearbook. He was visiting his family, and he was going through a yearbook, and he saw that it was like his dad's yearbook from high school. He saw that his dad was like student president, and he was just like, I wonder if I went to high school with my dad, if I would be friends with him. So that was kind of the initial concept of, would you be friends with your dad and if you met them in high school?
Your Chad dad.
Don't think I would have been. My dad's
I would have been.
Would you have?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
My dad was a nerd, so probably, yeah.
What about you, Jay?
I don't know. I mean, probably, but it would be weird. Like, that concept is just so weird to me.
Yeah,
like thinking of your parents younger and all that, but also being of that age where you could like hang out.
Yeah, my mom's basically a nun.
Are you serious?
No, that's a quote from the movie. That's a quote from the movie.
That was the other
It took me a
bit.
second too. I was like,
Yeah. I was like, I know your mom. What? So that was another concept, was that it was, your mom is just like, oh, like, right away the mom is just like, oh, I don't like that girl. She's calling you. Girls shouldn't be calling you. She's too promiscuous. So it's like that type of mother.
Yeah.
She's a drinker. She's a smoker. When she's 17. So it's playing around with those concepts, which is cool. Again, very simple, but they built this entire sci-fi movie just from that simple, like, okay, well, how do we get them there and how do we make this happen?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
This is our third time related movie, by the way, guys.
Oh, Jesus.
Damn.
You know what? But this is the least exhausting one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the one that makes the most sense, like plausible sense.
We have to talk about
I don't know, maybe, yeah.
Endgame and just the mind fuck that was. If you haven't listened to our Endgame episode, it's out. It was our very first episode, and time travel makes absolutely no fucking sense in that.
It's funny because they rag on Back to the Future in that movie. Remember?
Right.
Yeah,
This isn't Back to the Future. This is real time. Just like, stop.
Yeah.
But listen to that episode. We're not going to get into that again now. And I know that there are articles about why it makes sense. I don't give a shit. But this one was, you don't need an article to explain why Back to the Future from 1985 makes sense, because it just does. It's
Yeah, it's explained so well. Just how the technology works and stuff. Even though they're made up words like fucking
capacitor, the famous
the
famous
but
word.
it's like you just get it,
Right.
It was, it kind of adds to the movie feeling really fun. When I watched this, I got the same kind of sense that I got from Indiana Jones, but like just a little bit of a different level, like a different world.
Yeah.
But the same vibe of like, this is a fun
Just
movie.
an adventure.
Like a real story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool.
Could you imagine experiencing such a phenomenon like this movie, like as it came out, like a Star Wars or something like that? Like
80s.
This
was
was
so
the
crazy.
Star Wars of the 80s. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's a stretch, but like
It was big.
a new trilogy for the 80s.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the first movie did really well. The second and third, 1989 and 1990, or it was not.
Yeah, they came out
super
real
long
quick after each other. Yeah.
I don't know how well they were received, and honestly, I haven't seen those either. But I mean,
They're
I
not
would
super
imagine.
terrible, but they're
Yeah.
obviously less than this one.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
This movie had big shoes to fill for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are introduced, and here was the thing that initially I was kind of confused about is why is Marty McFly and Doc Brown, why are they friends?
That's
Because it's
so
just
funny.
so weird that it's just like this old man, he's not his uncle, he's not his grandfather, he's not related to him at all. It's just why are they friends? And from what I've seen, it's like, well, because Doc Brown was building him a really big amp. And Marty McFly
I actually saw today on Reddit a fan theory about this, and I was like, oh my god, like what are the chances of whatever this movie?
Yeah.
And then it was basically like Doc was hiring people, but like it was like super low pay or whatever, and he just wanted to make money, and like he would help him build like the amps and stuff. But one of the comments was like a link to an article where what's his name, Bob Gale actually like explained this a long time ago, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that question didn't even cross my mind, actually.
Yeah,
it did for me.
I was just like, okay. Like, I didn't even think about it.
It was weird because the beginning, I just could not get the parallels of Rick and Morty out of my head. Like, obviously, it's like based on this, but like right when it first starts and Doc is talking like the way he does, like super crazy.
Yeah.
Like way more crazier than compared to the rest of the movie,
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh god, is this gonna like feel like this the whole
Rick
time?
And Morty,
and I was like, shit.
That's funny.
But then like it went away really fast because it's totally different, obviously. But
I was waiting for somebody to say Rick and Morty, and I was if you didn't say it, I was gonna say it. I mean, we had to talk about the I thought because I've seen Rick and Morty, like the first couple of seasons, like all the way through, and like I'm familiar with the show, but I thought it was going to be way more like reminiscent of
like it was a parody of
Doc Brown and Marty McFly's relationship, and it's very, very different. Like Rick is completely different from Doc Brown, I think. They're both older, crazy scientists, but they're completely different.
Yeah.
So the original like skit that Justin Roiland, the creator, did was called something Doc and Marty or something. It was spelled all weird, and it was actually like those characters, but it's disgusting. Like, don't even watch it. It's fucking gross.
Like gross and bad. What?
No, it's gross and bad. I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird.
Who are the creators of what? Of Rick and Morty?
Rick and Morty.
Yeah, that's like it's where Rick and Morty came from. Like they just took those characters and made them entertaining. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it originally was an actual parody of this movie, which is
okay.
Dang.
So that makes sense.
I didn't think about that because I haven't really watched Rick and Morty, but now that you say it, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I didn't.
Right. Well, Morty, Marty. I mean, it's
Yeah, because in that it's like they're related. In this, I was like, why are they hanging out? It's kind of weird.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and not just Rick and Doc Brown it's not just them that are different, but Morty and Marty are very different too. Yeah, because Marty's like pretty smooth, and I mean, his name's Marty McFly. How are you not smooth with the name?
How are you not fly?
So,
yeah, that's actually what the writer said about them being like friends or whatever. It was talking about how Marty is just like this freaking like rebel or whatever, and he's just like all he would hear about Doc Brown is that he's like crazy and dangerous and all this stuff. So he like snuck into his lab to like see what was up and like just met him that way. I guess that's what he says.
Okay. Yeah, and it didn't like bother me, why they're friends, but
yeah. And then I was like, maybe it's just like time keeps like doing these weird things, and like they just meet at some weird point like that, and like it just happens no matter what kind of thing.
That's kind of where I was leaning to.
Okay, but then so here's the thing: is that Doc is looking for Marty, right? Like he spends 30 years trying to get back into his friendship with Marty to make everything okay again, right?
Yeah. Right. So like at that point, like it just
right? Doesn't he
looping,
technically live all those years without him?
Yeah.
But he knows who he is, and he expects.
That's what is it's really complicated about just time travel in general.
Yeah, see, that's
it's you.
I don't know, guys.
And I think that's what I like about this movie, that it's not drawing to attention. It's not saying like, let's really dissect what time travel really means. There's a couple of points where like, Marty, you can't talk to anyone because anything you could do can change the future. But that's about the extent that they go into it. They're not trying to, and I don't think anyone really wants them to, because that's not a show that anyone. That's not really
Yeah.
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 To make it simple, I think was best.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it still birthed like the flux capacitor and shit like that, you know. Like,
Right.
it just worked better than it would have if they went harder.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, the funness of just like, for whatever reason, 88 miles per hour is is how fast we need to be going. 1.21 gigawatts is the amount of energy that we need to produce this. You know, it's just
like
these
that
fun,
crazy ass car. It's like
and a DeLorean, like
The
what a fucking
DeLorean.
car.
Dude,
What a car.
sick.
So cool.
Dude, so the author of Ready Player One, he has a DeLorean that's shaped after this movie, like the time travel one, like with the vents and everything. And he tied a bunch of other sci-fi things to it. Like the outside of the doors have the Ghostbusters sticker on them.
Oh, nice.
And like the inside has stuff from other movies.
Nice.
But it's like a full car that he literally just drives around.
Iconic car. It's so iconic. They just added a fake knockoff of it in the GTA 5 online.
Oh, I saw that.
Called the Deluxo. Like just recently. But yeah. Have you ever seen one in real life?
I never have.
Yeah, one of our customers has one in their fucking yard. Just chilling there. But they kind of let it go to shit. Like it's all like one of those cars where the tires are all flat because it's just been sitting there forever.
Yeah.
But like it looks like the fucking Cybertruck, honestly. Like it looks like really metally. Like it's pretty sick, but still very iconic.
How much were those?
Rocket League too.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's like a DLC you can get.
Rocket League.
Literally the DeLorean. And it has all the same lights and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Were those like expensive cars when were they like luxury, or not luxury, but like really sporty, like expensive cars when they came out? I wonder.
Not sure.
Kind of. The owner, I remember hearing the guy who made it, or made like that company or whatever, wanted them to be affordable, but like they just like couldn't do it, and then they didn't sell well because they were so expensive. That's why they like.
And then they're coveted after 1985 because this movie.
Semi-rare, sort of, mostly rare, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've never seen one just on the street. So, so we meet Marty McFly as he walks into the Doc's laboratory. We find out that he's a musician, and I think this movie won us an award for, I believe, sound editing.
Nice.
I don't know the exact award it won, but like just like I was saying earlier, like right away, just like just such futuristic sounds, and like it's very satisfying, the clicks and everything that Marty's doing in the lab, and he just knows how everything works, and there's the of everything that's kind of
humming and stuff.
The humming, yeah. So well deserved. I mean, it was really fun to just listen to right from the start.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then so what happens next? He gets a phone call from Doc Brown, saying that he needs to meet him at the mall at 1:15 a.m., very specific time, for an experiment.
Dude, what I read, so I think it was on Reddit somewhere, was that the mall where that was filmed, they have that sign, the like twin. What is it?
Twin Times?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the time is at 1:15, and it just stays that way the whole time. And they have
no way.
That's
so cool.
Like hanging up.
Where is it? Do you know?
It's in the mall. It's in LA, I think.
Yeah, somewhere in California, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Does he? So quite a bit happens after that. Oh, right. And then we have the music that comes in where all the clocks are set. Like, what is it, 20 minutes behind or something? And he's just like, it's 8:20, I'm late for school. And then right away we have like the just iconic pop culture scene where I'm late for school, and then that "Don't Need Money" song comes on.
Same fucking song that plays like 8 times.
And you have Marty McFly just shredding on the skateboard, hitching rides from
Yeah.
which is where I know that from.
Oh my
like,
god, dude. Yeah, everybody knows that.
everyone knows pitching.
That shit reminds me of one time when we were skateboarding and Jay was trying to do that to, I think, one of our friend Aaron's car,
Oh,
and he
dude.
and he slammed on the
Oh,
brakes, and
no.
Jay like broke his knee.
My God.
You like broke your knee. That shit.
It was so swollen.
Because I think Joy was with us and he was like, "Oh yeah, Back to the Future." He said that. I think he actually said that, like, because like we were like, "Yeah, we were all trying to like ride on the car, like get a hitch." And Jay was doing it, and then like
dude,
the
it's
brakes got tapped, and then he like.
You know how your knees are like this, like naturally they're kind of bent, and you walk. You know, it was just getting rammed in it, going like that. And just bending back. And it hurt so bad.
Jay
And
straight
tore up so
crumpled. Jay straight crumpled, and he was like, "Oh," he was like, "Fuck." We could laugh about it now, but at the time, it was a pretty serious thing. But I honestly thought of that right when they were doing that. I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "This guy's gonna get his fucking leg fucked up.
This guy's gonna get crumpled."
This guy's gonna get
That's
crumpled.
amazing.
That brings up an
Yeah.
interesting point about some of the thought that went into the writing of this movie with Bob Gale. He originally was not going to have the time travel machine be a DeLorean. Originally, it was going to be a refrigerator.
Oh,
And
what?
he was afraid that children would lock themselves in a refrigerator.
Oh shit!
And I mean, like, which is like great hindsight because
Wow.
our dumbasses were hitching rides off of,
Yeah,
kind of
holy
based off
shit.
of this movie. So, yeah, that's why he switched it to a DeLorean, a mobile vehicle, though, and,
Dude,
it,
that's
and it made
another-
more sense.
That's another parallel to Indiana Jones. Doesn't he like pop in a fridge or something, or a freezer?
Does it?
That's in the
In the newest one.
that's in the really bad
Oh,
one.
I have not seen
That's
that.
a
I
really
haven't
bad
seen it.
one.
No,
It's
no.
the lead-lined refrigerator that saves him from a nuclear explosion. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so Marty makes it to school. He meets his girlfriend Jennifer, right?
Yeah.
That's her name. Yeah, and then he has this weird interaction with the principal, where their noses touch, which
Oh god.
which is
No.
such a weird scene.
Yeah.
And he says, "You're never gonna, you're just like your father. You're never gonna amount to anything." And then
That's
Which
like
It was
kind
so
of
weird because when
80s
they
thing.
met the dad before that, he's such a fucking nerd. You know what I mean? I was like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
it was weird that because I mean in that timeline, his dad wasn't. I mean, his dad was a nerd, but he wasn't like a delinquent that was gonna
Yeah.
Yeah.
not be
Is
anyone,
that
but-
not a plot hole?
Well, no, I mean he
Is
becomes
that not
like
a
a slacker
character?
because he's like he's late on his own stuff because he has to do the bully's work and all that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Oh, maybe.
okay.
Biff.
That's what happens later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then we see Marty McFly's kind of like his what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, how he's fulfilling he's going down the same path that his father went down, where he is afraid of rejection and what if I'm not good enough? So he plays a talent show and they kind of say you're too loud. And
Not kind
You
of
know-
say, they just straight up say you're too loud.
yeah, it's so weird. But they were like talented, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, after he's talking to his girlfriend Jennifer, and he's just saying like, "Oh, like, well, what?" Like she's like, "You need to take your mixtape to the record label," and he's like, well, "What if they don't like it? What if I'm not good enough?" And you see that later, where his dad has that same fear about writing his. Are they sci-fi novels or
Oh, yeah.
whatever? Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even catch that.
yeah. So you just see that Marty McFly in this timeline is like living up to the same struggles that his dad lived up to when he was the same age. And then later on you see Marty McFly talking to his dad in the future or in the past, saying like, "Oh, like you need to just do this for yourself." And it's just kind of an interesting little play there about
The words he would want to hear.
right, yeah, the words that he the advice that you would give, but not the advice that you take.
Yeah, because they both tell each other, what is it like? But as long as you put your mind to it, you can do anything or something. Like
Right.
they just tell each other that. It's so funny.
Yeah, so it's kind of a cool little relationship that they had.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty. I mean, I feel like it's a pretty deep creative hurdle, like that, to tackle that kind of subject. The whole
Right.
like, I'm not good enough, or I don't think I'm good enough to like do something or show it to the world or whatever.
Yeah.
I took a lot of that because I've definitely been there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where, if I feel like it was something that I heard in like a high school philosophy class from one of my teachers, is like so many people just don't try because they're afraid that if they do give something that they're all, if they fail, then they'll feel worthless. But a lot of people would just be so surprised at like what potential they could have when they do that. And just a lot of people just don't. They just say like, I'll just settle with mediocrity and just be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James held up the shirt he's wearing, which is our old band logo.
Oh no.
Old band? Are we still a band?
Old band.
It's that kind of thing.
We've
But
been in
that
hiatus for like 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
That was the thing that was like, we were jamming in the garages. We bounced a lot of places. We had to
Shit.
find a lot of places to play. Like we went to all of those things because we really liked to do it, but like, and it felt fun, and it was really fun when we were together, like jamming, rehearsing, whatever, making songs. And then when we would go to play live shows, it was like, you know what I mean? You just freeze up, and you're like, holy shit, we suck. Everything sucks. We're not going to be good enough. And
Yeah.
it's totally crazy.
Yeah, but we kind of went through the same thing with this film fumbler shit.
Yeah.
Took us 10 entire episodes and over a year to finally. I mean, we did that kind of on purpose, but like to really get the confidence to like go out and ask our friends,
Tell people about
hey,
it.
Yeah,
come
exactly.
check out our thing. Like we've been on podcast
Spotify.
services for well over 6 months.
Over
Like
a
we've
year.
been out there, but like now we're actually diving into this thing. So yeah, I like that part of the movie. I didn't really pick that up, but that's
Well, it's big, and that was,
thing.
it kind of draws a little bit of focus to the main writers of this movie, Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, where they had originally written the script like in the very early 80s. I think it was like 81, and they were pitching it all over. Like they even wanted Disney at one point to get to produce to like.
Feels like a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Like,
but it was also, there was kind of the issue that Disney had where it was just like, it's weird that a mother is falling in love with her son, so it didn't fully.
yeah.
But they had been trying to pitch it for a while, and you see that where even these, like, now they're giant, huge names, like huge directors have had like huge movies, but back then in the in the early 80s, they didn't have a name for themselves. And it's kind of the perseverance that they went through to continue on and release one of the best sci-fi movies probably ever. I mean, top 10, I would say.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's like the same thing. They're like going through that same struggle,
right.
but keeping at it. That's the hard thing. Consistency, man. That's the real advice. Consistency.
Right.
Stay consistent and the world is yours.
Yeah, if we just keep pumping out these episodes, somebody's bound to listen. So, but I mean, not to get too deep into it, but this is genuinely a fun thing for us. I think all of us enjoy. It's an excuse for us to all just get together and talk about something that we love, which is film and
drink.
And something that we love. Great.
And that kind of ties, last episode, Groundhog Day, we're talking about getting into schedules and stuff. And I think us kind of adding this into our schedule just solidifies that, especially when it's so hard these days to find like that social time with all the shit going on.
Right.
It's nice to just be like, yeah, Saturdays, we're hanging out, talking about movies, we're drinking.
What does that flag say back there? Is it?
It says, today to this, that's rough. Saturdays for the boys. It's backwards because my camera's flipped.
Yeah, so I guess let's flash forward a little bit so we had Marty McFly being late to school, he gets written up, whatever. He bombs at the audition for the talent show, tries to rediscover, or like talks about his insecurities, really is what they are, about being a musician. What happens next? I think kind of.
Probably when he goes home, right? And the car's wrecked, he
Oh,
can't go
right.
out.
Right.
Mm.
And you
You see
right.
Biff for the first time.
You meet the relationship between Biff and Marty's dad, which is God. Again, it's such a simple movie. Like you just hate Biff so much, and like you
Just instantly.
Yeah.
you're just like, yeah, this is just such a typical '80s asshole.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But like, do you not feel bad for him at the end? Because Chad Dad over here is like
Fuck
fucking
Biff, dude. Hashtag
like-
fuck Biff.
all the way. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And him and his friends
No,
are
he was a bully. He was a
racist
bully. And he was put in his
and
place.
stuff. Okay, yeah.
It furthers the like, yeah. I think Sharon's right. The plot hole thing. I don't think it's like it must be true that there's almost no plot holes because they really do tie it up pretty well. I feel.
James, you gotta lay your case down.
Lay
If
it
you're gonna
out.
like throw it
What
down.
is
Where
it,
are the
man?
subtles
I don't.
You're just
What
like,
part
no
doesn't
movie
feel
can be
right?
this good.
let the conversation flow, and then I'll think of some things right off the top of my head. I can't really think of any. Well, okay, but I don't know. I don't want to really get into plot holes right now. Let's just keep going.
James is just gonna hit us with an encore at the end.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't have time for a 15-minute monologue.
I'm gonna
at the end.
debunk the entire space-time continuum for the movie.
And
At
then it's stream.
15 minutes at the end during my review. Stay tuned
Yeah.
because it's coming.
Well,
Stay tuned.
Sure.
Okay, so this is when we, with his dad, this is like totally not related to anything, but because his hair pissed me off the whole movie. It's so gross and
as
greasy.
he's a kid, or
The whole time. It's
Okay,
just like,
the whole-
it just stops like halfway
all
down his
parted.
head and it's all weird.
It
Oh,
was very noticeable.
Yeah.
It definitely caught my attention.
very distracting. Greasy.
Do you know
yeah.
what's
Well, Go ahead,
crazy
James.
is that the actor was very vocal about hating that haircut as well. That he
Really?
that he
I wonder
did,
why they did that.
that
Just
he
to
did
solidify
not-
his nerdiness.
yeah, that he did not want that haircut. And the scene where he gets visited by Lord Vader, like he wanted his hair to be all crazy because he was like staying up all night and everything, but they still made him get the haircut.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's funny.
dude, there was like a part of me that was just like, his haircut is almost similar to the haircuts that are popular now, where
Yeah, yeah.
it's like a
Almost.
very, very nice like fade on the like around the ears, and then it's kind of longer on the top, which is kind of what I
But it's
have.
just
where
like
it's-
solid
shorter
pieces
and
hanging
wider.
down.
Yeah.
no, yeah, I mean, it's different in that aspect, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that
It's
too.
weird.
I was like, almost what is.
Right. Well, you know, time is
Everything old is new again, man.
right. Yeah.
Eases in.
Dude, I was talking about that the other day about glasses. Like, way back in like the 90s, like really big glasses were really in.
Yeah.
And then like towards like the 2000s and the like 2010s, it was just like smaller, like low profile. And now again, I mean, I wear glasses normally, but like just look at Taryn's glasses, like they're like big lenses. Like, and it's just
Holy
It's just
crap!
like
I just
that's
realized
everywhere, bro.
your glasses
Very
are
big.
really big. I never realized that.
No,
What the hell?
you don't realize it because that's just what's in.
I was like, whoa.
That's what's in.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually just ordered a new pair of glasses last night that are like
They're probably
bigger,
big lenses, yeah.
and they're like wire, you know, like the metal, thin
Oh,
metal
yeah.
kind of deal.
It's so
We're
weird.
all blind. Wow. I work.
Yeah, none of us
Yeah.
don't have corrective vision.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting until the robot eyes come out, you know, or
Dude.
until I can throw an app
I can
in there.
zoom in.
Yeah, exactly.
The Google Glass eyes implantations in my ears.
Pop at your eyeballs. Yeah.
I'll do.
Well, there's like LASIK, which I'm just worried. I
I'm
don't think I'm gonna
terrified.
get it.
Yeah, I feel like I am too, but I know a lot of people that have done it and are like, it's great and it works so well.
Yeah, they
I'm
said
like-
that for the first 2 years. One of my good friends, he had LASIK, and his God, I'm gonna butcher this, but I feel like like a layer on his cornea was like too shallow that he couldn't get it recorrected a couple of years later because his vision started to go bad again. So he had to like travel outside of state to get an optometrist, or I don't even know if they're whatever they are, to like actually do the surgery. because like that doesn't regrow, something like that. I don't know.
Ooh,
Wow.
that sounds scary.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Was his
and then
like
they like
botched?
they make you no, it wasn't botched. It's just like it doesn't last forever, and that's what people don't
And
get.
it messes it up like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like 'cause
Yeah.
you have so much of that.
Gravity.
I've
Yeah.
never looked into the thing at all. Like
I haven't
heard
either
people
because
talk about it.
I don't really mind glasses because
Yeah, I
Oh
feel
yeah,
the
I've
same
had
way.
glasses most of my life.
Sexy nerds.
right. Well,
Any
and then
sexy
contacts
nerds in
don't
the
bother
chat?
me that much. Like I'll throw contacts on. It doesn't really,
Sexy Hulk throwback.
go back again to the time
Shit.
travel. But okay, so Marty McFly, after he meets his family and he sees we as the audience are introduced to the relationship that his father has with his father's supervisor, Biff. I think shortly after that he goes to the mall where he meets Doc Brown,
Mhm.
which I think a little bit interesting for me was I feel like Doc Brown was not as prominent in this movie as I thought he was.
Yeah, me too.
I was like expecting him to be like on scene almost every 70% of the movie.
Yeah.
It really wasn't.
Maybe that's the Rick and Morty thing, is like they're both together the whole time. That's what I kind of figured was gonna happen.
Right.
It's mostly just
I wonder if that worked better in this case, like in the times in the 80s, to like not have to deal with this like quirky, crazy character for the entire movie, because it would be kind of like exhausting.
Yeah.
Right.
But you throw him
Yeah.
in spaced out and it works better. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because
Makes sense.
that's a good point, because I was never like, every time Christopher Lloyd was on screen, I was just like, I like his character. Like he's
I
fun
loved
to
his
watch.
character.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
fun to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
And you just don't. He's a lovable guy. He's
The
just
best. I think
Yeah.
him and Marty McFly have like 20 something minutes of screen time together in the entire movie.
That makes
wow.
sense.
Wow.
The movie's
That's
what, like
crazy.
almost 2 hours, an hour.
Yeah, almost
48?
Pretty much 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty small fraction of the movie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Which makes the length of time that they're spent apart more intense, right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 years, but
Yeah.
also just like within the span of the movie.
That's in one movie, because we don't really know what happens, because he goes to the future at the end, right? And then he comes
Yeah.
back. So how many
Yeah.
years is he without Marty? Years and years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Over 25. Yeah.
Yeah, 30 years for sure in the beginning.
Yeah.
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 And then after that, Marty has kids, right? Spoiler alert, that's the end of the movie.
Right.
So like how far has he lived in the future? That's a lot of, well, I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
he didn't have
You could have just
young
showed
Marty.
up and seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So it brings us to the mall scene, which was a really cool scene. I mean, I think that I was like watching it today. I was just so nervous about the dog being put.
I know,
into the
right?
rodeo.
Oh,
Just being buckled in. I'm like, this is not FDA approved for a dog. Seatbelts are just not out. But yeah, we have a dog being controlled by a remote control car, flying down at 88 miles an hour.
Dude, I love the timers. Like, it's just so simple, and he just gets the point across
Right.
Mm-hmm.
perfectly.
This is what time travel is in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you want to
Um,
go, where you are, where you've been, or whatever the hell. it
dude, I
is.
love that it was ice when the car came back.
Yeah.
And they were like,
Right.
it's really
Super
cold.
cold. Super cold. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like, and he even asked, he's like, is it hot? He's like, no, it's cold. It's just,
Yeah.
Is that like a play on? Don't when rockets come back from outer space, they're cold.
Well, yeah. Outer space is.
Yeah, that might
Yeah,
be
that makes
that might
sense.
be a
I've
play
never
on
been, I don't
something
know.
like that.
Hey, we just had a
Um,
rocket launch today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
SpaceX.
This is
That was awesome.
May 30th. SpaceX and NASA, I will say, they collaborated to launch. I think it's been the first time that we've sent man into space in like 10 years, something like that.
Oh,
Like
there was
it's-
someone on it? Actually, I didn't know that.
There's
people,
two
there was,
people.
there was two people, Bob and Doug.
Cool.
They are headed to the ISS, the International Space Station.
Yeah, that was an amazing live stream today. It was streamed. I'm sure there's VODs.
Really cool,
I'll
yeah.
probably
I
check
should
it out
find it.
again.
Oh no, I'm sure. Yeah, most people. It's pretty big thing, pretty big day in America. Like it was just like American rocket, like American made rocket on American soil with Americans. Like it was like very like America, fuck yeah, kind of thing.
It looked sleek as hell too,
As
man.
I drink a Mexican lager.
Dude,
Okay,
were
go
you
ahead,
guys,
Taryn.
I've seen this movie and I totally forgot he just gets gunned down. I was like, holy fucking
Yeah,
shit.
straight blasted.
Okay. Is that a plot hole though? The terrorist thing? Did they explain how he's related to the terrorists or why they're after
He
him?
stole the plutonium.
Yeah,
Or no, okay.
no,
They
no.
hired him to make something for them
A
with the
nuke,
plutonium,
yeah.
and he lied to them and
that's right.
stole the plutonium from them.
And he
Right.
made like some shitty bomb or something.
He
and gave it to
put-
him.
Yeah, he made like some bullshit.
He put old.
Okay.
He said he put old pinball machine parts
That's it.
into
Yeah.
a bomb, or into something that looked like a bomb, and said, "Hey, this is a bomb." Sold it to what nationality were they?
Libyans.
Libyan terrorists.
Yeah.
Which is so weird that 1985 we're still talking about the Middle East as terrorists, which is like something that maybe we can
A forever
go in on.
thing.
Yeah. So weird. I mean, this is like obviously years before 9/11 and everything, but we're like, as a society, still seeing that region of the world as like quote unquote terrorist. Yeah, so he kind of dupes these Libyan terrorists that he built them a bomb, but he stole the plutonium that they had stolen from, which again was foreshadowed from the first scene. They had stolen from the labs, and the plutonium was the necessary fuel for the DeLorean to have 1.21 gigawatts of power to power the DeLorean to travel through time.
That makes sense. I totally remember that in the beginning, but I just for some reason didn't connect the two.
Yeah, probably the Tito's, but
Maybe the Tito's.
yeah, cool scene. I mean, it's after Doc Brown is shot, you have Marty McFly who hops into the DeLorean and he's just kind of trying to escape. The dial for the time travel is already set, and as he reaches 88 miles an hour,
88.
gone back into 1955. November 5th, is it?
I think so.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
October?
October.
Something like that.
October. something.
October? I thought it was November. But yeah, at any rate, so he is back in time, which...
Dude, he gets shot at a lot, and is like not phased by it. It's kind of crazy.
October 21st.
Okay. I thought it was November, but yeah.
Because what does he land? He lands in like that barn or whatever, and those people.
Oh
Fucking
yeah.
alien or whatever.
Yeah.
I totally
Start
know about
shooting
that
at
part.
him.
Yeah, well, another thing is, so the DeLorean. Okay, so everyone knows Lamborghini doors, right? The Lamborghinis, they open up really interestingly. The DeLorean had doors that open similar to a Tesla Model X, which is like kind of the swan wings where it just kind of goes up. And so
Right.
I read something that what the writers were saying is like it was believable for farmers in 1955 to see something so different, because I mean obviously there were cars back then, but to see something so different, to be like, this is an alien machine that crashed into our barn.
Yeah, and him in the hazmat suit,
The
or
hazmat
coming out of
suit,
it.
yeah, and the mask.
Dude, they thought of everything, James. I don't know what you're gonna pull out.
Oh man, yeah, no, and again, it was
Just
just like
there,
it was
man.
very
It's there.
calculated.
Yeah. Connecting again to the rocket launch and SpaceX and Tesla and all that good stuff.
Right, yeah.
Maybe that's influence.
Not sponsored by Elon, but
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, what I really liked about them when they landed in the 50s is that you see, like, we were talking about the attention to detail in the movie. It's really apparent when it swaps to the 50s and everything is like different and change and very
Right.
50s. The cars, the clothes, the gas
I mean,
prices,
the
all these
music,
things.
the music. I mean, you have Enter Sandman, or excuse me, Enter Sandman.
I was like,
Talking.
wait.
Mr.
Where?
Sandman. Playing in like I mean, granted, we're recording this in 2020, but that's just such a 50s novel like song, like Mr. Sandman, Send Me a Dream. Like it's just you hear it, and I would imagine in the 80s it was like that same kind of thing where you just know like, oh, like you're hearing that song and like it's like a huge song at the time. We're in the 50s. So it did a good job at showing like what was happening at the time.
Yeah, and also, right when he gets out of the car, I think he sees the signs to his neighborhood, and there's just nothing. Like nothing is built yet. Like it's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's just all like farm fields or
That where the scene where it shows the neighborhood where he's still in the 80s, it looked almost like the same alley from Groundhog Day. I wanted to
really.
look at it, I forgot, but it looks almost the
It's the same
same.
fucking.
Time.
Yeah.
Could be the same like lot or whatever.
I didn't catch that. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So right away you have Marty McFly, who is dressed in 80s attire. And
everyone says he's in a fucking
he's a life vest.
Sailor.
Yeah.
So funny every time. I'm like, wow,
It's hilarious. Yeah, it's just like everyone's in zoot suits and top hats, and he's in this like brightly colored 80s attire. Then he goes into, gosh, some of the ad plugs in this movie were kind of hilarious. Just the Pepsi Zero, the JC Penney. He goes to the diner and he's just like, give me a tab, and the guy's like, I can't give you a tab. You haven't ordered anything. He's like, well, give me a Pepsi free. He's like, I can't give you a Pepsi for free. Like, it's like these silly things where he doesn't fully understand that he's in the past yet.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of little plays like that that are really cool throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Right. Which were also ads, but it was like well done for sure.
Yeah.
I saw a thing on Reddit about that scene is where, so that bartender or whatever, he didn't know what what tabs were and what Pepsi Free is because they haven't came out yet. But people in our generation or younger than us, they're gonna watch that scene and they're not gonna know what that is either, because those don't exist anymore either. Like,
That's
interesting.
Yeah,
I never thought about that.
yeah.
Those things will age kind of weirdly.
Yeah,
I wonder if the
kinda
movie will still
strange.
be as good in like 20 more years.
I actually thought about that. This movie.
Yeah,
I think it's timeless. Besides, like some small things like that. Because they don't go to the future and show some weird cheesy ass looking shit. You know what I mean? Like they just go backwards to stuff we already know.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. Well,
thought
what
that was
about
really cool.
2 and 3? We don't know yet.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Even the very end when he comes back with those fucking silver goggles or whatever is kind of funny. But
and he doesn't need plutonium anymore. He only needs banana peels.
Oh,
Yeah, he's all eco-friendly. He's all eco-friendly.
Yeah, which was interesting. I read that, when I watched it, I was just like, are they saying that the future is more eco-friendly? Like, with
It's
just
a little
using
optimistic view.
compost or whatever.
yeah, just using literal compost. Which
I loved
was
when
like,
he
okay.
poured the beer in and then he just drops the can.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That was great. So I read this thing where it said that those goggles, the metal goggles, were literally just sheet metal, and he
just
actually
cut out.
couldn't see. Like, so he touches the
Like
car
it,
to
yeah.
like feel when he runs up, but he can't see at all. It's just straight up metal on his face.
That's funny.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So where are we? So Marty McFly.
Somebody comes in and sits by his dad, right?
Yeah, yes. He goes into the diner and he sits by what he finds out his dad, and it's just this weird, holy shit, this guy's my dad kind of thing
What
going
are
on.
you staring at?
He gets bullied by Biff, right?
Yeah.
For the first
Yeah,
time.
he says literally they have literally the same interaction they had in
Yeah.
Right.
before in the movie.
Present
Right.
day or whatever you want to call it.
Sleeping in, like, oh, like don't bring the homework that you owe me until a little later because I sleep in on Saturdays or Sundays, whatever.
Right.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so where do we go from here?
So this is right after this is he follows him out and this is when he ruins the timeline, right? When he saves his dad instead of
Oh,
letting him
right.
get hit by the car.
Which was
Yeah.
interesting. So you
Yeah.
find out that Marty McFly's dad is a peeping Tom creep.
Yeah, he's like, what
Which
were you
is
doing
just
watching
so
birds?
weird.
Dude, that's what I've been saying, man. You get the Virgin George, and then you get the Chad George later in the movie. It's like,
Well, okay, if you knock out
shit.
the school's biggest bully in one punch, you're gonna probably turn into a Chad.
Yeah.
Just
I
It's
don't
gonna
know.
change your life. Which I
Yeah.
want to talk about that scene, but we'll get to it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the first point where we see Marty directly interfering with his future, or with just the future in general, where he pushes his dad out of the way, he gets hit by the car, he wakes up in a bed next to his mother.
Oh, so this reminds me. Did you guys notice at the beginning his parents were like aged up? Did that like come across to you?
I didn't realize that they like were doing that. Like I didn't
either.
I was just like, I kind of had a weird feeling. I was like, these people look kind of fucked up. Like,
Oh, you know,
like the way, like
and
the
her mom
like,
was-
Yeah.
They made it obvious that their relationship was not doing well. Like Marty's dad was watching TV the whole time.
yeah.
Marty's mom was an alcoholic, and you could see that right away. And
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just mean like their
physical
faces
appearances.
had wrinkles and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they just used the young actors and made them look older.
Yeah.
Oh,
in the
I didn't really
beginning.
notice
I guess
that.
I didn't catch that.
It's
no.
funny, I didn't notice at the beginning. I noticed that they were the same actors, younger.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit! And then at the
Oh,
end,
wait,
it was
so-
so obvious. I was
Yeah.
like, this looks
Yeah.
terrible now.
Yeah.
because I
In
know
the
that
beginning,
they're
it
young
was.
people.
I thought it was good. I thought the makeup was insane.
Yeah, I didn't even
it
notice.
Was, it was
Wait,
really
so
good.
Marty's mom was the
The
same
s-
actor as 17 as she was 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yes.
Biff, all of them.
And
All
the
of them,
dad.
Biff, everybody.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is phenomenal.
That's what I was saying. The beginning was
Yeah.
unnoticeable, and the end was way too noticeable
Yeah.
because you've
That's
seen them
totally true.
younger.
In
Wow.
I
fact,
thought that was so interesting.
all of them were relatively the same age at 24 years old.
In real
Wow.
life,
In
yeah.
real
Yeah,
life,
actual
as
actors, yeah.
Oh,
They're
cool.
acting as 17-year-olds, but they were.
yeah, Marty's dad was the youngest
17
one.
and like 40.
Marty's dad was the youngest one. He was actually 23. And
Oh, wow.
what's his name? Fox was 24. His mom's 24.
Michael J. Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were-
he was.
And that was one
cool.
thing that was taking me out of
Dude,
it. I
he
was
seems
like,
so young.
no, he has the
No.
he has the weirdest baby old face. Like he looks old and he looks like a child at the same time, and it was fucking me up. Like I was like,
Thank you
I
for
had
mentioning
to
that
I had to
name.
Google it. I was like, what the fuck, is he old or is he not? Like, and he was 24, and I was like, okay, like, but he still had like such a weird baby face, but
felt so
he's
young,
fucking
that's all.
James,
weird.
no,
I
thank
I
you for
thought he
mentioning
looked
that.
old and young at the same time, and he was, the whole thought of
For
the whole
mentioning that,
thing was
because
just
as
like,
I was
what?
watching the movie, I was just
all
like,
right.
I was just like, how old is this
Yeah.
person? He's in high school. He's supposed to be 17, and I was just
Yeah.
like, well, how old was he when he how old
Yeah,
was
he was
Michael J.
24.
Fox? He was 24 years old when this movie was being recorded, and I was just like, this man looks like, is he 30? Is he 16?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a subreddit. It's called 13 or 30.
Yeah.
And he would be perfect for that because you can't fucking tell. It's so weird. He's weird.
No, I agree.
Weird.
I agree.
Dude, that's so funny because all the other actors in the movie played a young and an old version and like a different version of themselves,
yeah.
and he's the only one who is the same throughout,
Right.
No.
Yeah.
but looked the double at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
funny.
man.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was it?
But anyways,
Shit, there was
let's-
one more
let's-
thing.
Oh, we were talking about.
Go
we were
ahead. I'll
talking.
think
We
about it.
were.
I'll think about it.
We were talking about the makeup and all that kind of stuff where we saw they were young, saw they were old. But let's get into the nitty-gritty. We need to talk about the son and mother on the bed relationship. We need to get
Yes.
into the controversial
I
subject right
was-
now.
The anti-Disney.
waiting
Scene.
for us to get into this, dude. Because I knew, again, I'd never seen this movie, but I was just like, oh, like I've seen enough of this movie where I understand what's going on. And when I watched this movie, I was like, this is happening. Like this mom is trying to fuck. So it's like making me uncomfortable.
Is she attracted to partially what she looks like? Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
'cause it's her kid.
No, I think it was just I think it was a bit of a play on just that she was very sexually promiscuous. Like she had this ploy about like, oh, like, you know, you should never pursue a boy, and it was just everything that she wasn't as a child, and she was kind of projecting, like she was trying to like flip the switch on like who she was as a kid, but as a kid she was promiscuous for sure.
They say if you smoke, you poke.
I thought that the scene was an interesting like show of the 50s versus now, especially in 2020. Where like if you hit someone with your car, you're not gonna like bring them into your house and heal them up. You know, you're gonna like take the fuck off and not care. Right?
Oh damn! Really,
you hit me with the car? I'm a little concerned now.
Personal disclaimer: no, I've never hit someone with my car, but you know what I mean. Like the average story you would hear about is like hit and run. You know what I mean? It's not like oh shit, I should fix this.
Yeah,
and then spring this, but it was like believable. Like oh, they're in the 50s.
Yeah,
oh, they're just in the 50s.
Come on down for dinner.
Yeah, come on down for dinner. Maybe we need to go back to more of that.
Gosh, but they did. I think they did a really good job at kind of demonstrating like this is what's happening in the movie, but also this is like how uncomfortable you would be as Marty McFly. They're at the dinner table and. You know, he's just talking about, like, oh, this is a rerun. Like, they're watching.
Dude,
the show.
He kind of wanted
So
it.
good.
I'm gonna say it right now. He kind of wanted it, which was like, he was like, "You're so." What?
He
watch
almost,
it.
like,
watch it. He was like, he was about to.
But I mean, he wasn't wrong. Like, she was like super attractive in the, you know.
Yeah.
But it's also like, yes, that's your mom.
That's your mom, unless.
Yeah, right. And that was just like, unless
hey, I mean,
the mother of your child, which is also you.
We're all fucked up. The time's all fucked up. What's gonna happen? I mean,
it's like in Futurama where Fry is like his own grandpa or some shit. Because whatever. I'll end there, but that's fucking funny.
No, which like kind of goes into like how much this movie has infiltrated just like enormous amounts of pop culture, like huge movie shows, Futurama, Family Guy, like just very big shows they've had episodes and episodes and skits dedicated to what this movie has done for film, like and just has done for pop culture, which is huge. It's humongous.
What's that comedy
things about this?
Is it a Comedy Central skit where it's like where it's like the pitch and it's like who knows
the auditions?
Yeah, no, like the
that
pitch.
was SNL.
Oh, SNL. And it's like the mother wants to fuck the son. It's like
oh wow, okay.
No, it's something else. It's like
no, it's probably that.
There's a lot of feedback on your end.
What noise is going on right now? Like, okay,
good.
Sorry about that.
The thunder. It's been thundery today. A little rain.
Yeah,
my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, no, but there was, God, just that relationship between, because as the audience, I mean, the mom is hot. Like,
so you wanted to see him get down. You got to see the kids at the end.
You know what I mean?
Like, you got your wish come true.
What? I'm not.
I'm trolling.
Okay, you know what I'm saying. It's like, were you just like, oh shit, like, we doing this? Like,
unless
no, we can't. Because then
I think I'm here for this.
Because then you think, okay, because like initially, let me just tell you how I thought about this movie. I watched it and it was just like Marty McFly meeting his mom. His mom's hot. You're just like, okay, holy shit, like we're going there. And then you switch the tide and you're just like, what if it was my mom? Like, no, like, no. It throws it off completely, and you're just like, okay, but they didn't go there, but they played with it.
You totally related.
Yeah,
to
he
him.
was definitely
You're like,
mouthing
yeah.
like he was mouthing like you're hot, oh, like gonna say like hot or whatever.
Right.
So funny.
Ah, it's so funny because like in the movie you're just like, oh dude, just fucking, and then you're just like, wait, no, if that was my mom, no, absolutely not. So that was just a fun, it was just a fun little bit in the movie for sure.
Yeah, even at the end where they're in the car or whatever, he's just like waiting,
Oh.
like just please stop.
Yes.
So
All right, let's get this.
we got a comment saying that incest is the main thread in an all-time American classic. It's literally the rest of the film. He has to like stop himself from committing incest so that way he survives.
Oh my god.
But what if he did it and he made himself
He would just disappear.
He'd have
Or
like
do you think-
fucking
and then reappear?
12 extra
'cause he's
toes.
Born
He made
again.
himself?
I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
think about that. Wow.
Okay, I don't know how off the rails we have gotten. I think we've been recording for like an hour now. Is that
Yeah.
around right?
Yes.
Sounds right.
Oh,
Let us get a little bit more through this movie.
Yes.
So the next thing that my mind jumps to is the dance or whatever.
yeah, very
Like
basic.
I like the middle. I guess in the in between isn't like it's good, but like that's just where my mind is like that's the next thing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Next big-
there's a lot of like
Yeah.
We could talk
setting
about
it up. A lot
Yeah.
of great skateboarding scenes. Oh,
some
Those
good
are so
puns. You can talking about those. With the, he's like, "This is heavy," and he's just like, "What does this have to do with weight?" Or whatever the fuck.
oh yeah.
That shit
Oh,
killed me.
right.
Loved
No,
it.
he's talking about he's like, oh, all the nuclear wars in the future made the density of or the gravity pull in Earth
Oh, yeah.
like so much
The gravitational
heavier.
pull is weaker in the future.
yeah. So it's like
All the
everything's so
atomic wars.
heavy.
So
Well, no, that's because he
shit
was
is
wearing
so
the radiation suit. He's like,
Oh,
oh, you're wearing
yeah.
radiation. It's like, oh, that's because of the nuclear fallout.
yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
again, 1955. You know, we're worried about the Cold War and everything. Just like,
yeah.
Right.
kind of expected. But yeah, like to go to the dancing, I think that's a good point to bring it back through. I mean, a lot of stuff happens. You know, you have Marty's dad who like struggles with his future bully and like his current bully.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And,
more and more of his mom.
Yeah,
just
but at the
swooning for
end,
him.
finally we have Marty being like, "You need to be a goddamn man. I'm going to make advances on my mother, and you need to like come in and intervene." Marty gets thrown into a trunk by the bullies, and then such a weird scene to watch today. I don't know if it was as weird maybe back in 1985, but to watch Biff attempt rape on
Oh god.
Oh yeah, totally.
which
Yeah.
I was watching and was like, this is so uncomfortable, and I'm like, was
Yeah,
this
it makes it
ever-
even more like impactful that his dad did something, right?
Mhm.
right. Yo, no, for sure,
Yeah.
sure. And yeah, so his future dad, you know, it's and I think this is like such an iconic thing for like the 80s is like, you know, you're the nerd, you're like, no one expects anything of you, but you have that one punch that like
Because his hand.
you can and you just see his hand and you're just like, this guy, this is the only punch he ever has that is going to do anything for his life, but it's so important, and he delivers that punch to Biff, the bully, knocks him
knocks
out.
his ass out.
So there's an
And-
Easter egg with that scene.
Really?
Yeah.
Biff and the thugs, they spike the punch in the party, and then you see George drink the spiked punch,
Oh wow.
and
I didn't know that.
Yes.
that that punch is literally a liquid courage punch.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, there's a little
Okay.
Easter egg with that.
They
I
helped
saw
Does
that.
it
out.
actually? It actually shows them spike the punch.
Yeah, they pour a little fifth in there, and
Oh, I
then
didn't see
and then you
that.
see
Yeah,
nice.
Okay.
you see George drinking the punch, and then you see him get the liquid courage punch. Boom!
Yeah, okay. That makes sense because
Yeah,
I
there's
thought
a
it was
little Easter
weird
egg
like
with
that
that.
he took so long in the dance.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah.
the drink and all that stuff, but like that makes a
Right.
lot of sense. It's
Mhm.
awesome.
Hey, I'll drink to that, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh man, I'm empty. Cheers.
What are you doing empty? What, you don't have stuff on lineup?
I don't. No.
At any rate, yeah. So then we have Marty's future dad, you know, victorious, and what's her name? Not Lorraine, but Jennifer.
That's
Oh no, I'm sorry. Jennifer's his girlfriend. It is Lorraine. Lorraine's
Yeah.
character falls in love with Marty's dad, and they go to the dance, which was interesting because throughout this movie, you see Marty inventing skateboarding. He invents modern rock and roll.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other things that he.
Chuck
kinda-
Berry. What is it? Chuck Berry. They're like, here's your
Yeah.
Chuck
view.
Berry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's Chuck Berry's cousin who is the original musician. He's like, you know that sound you were looking for? Well, this is it.
Yeah.
Which is, again,
Who was talking
such a-
about another skit where it's like, here's some generic bullshit that you're gonna hear for the next.
That was
30
Family Guy.
Family Guy, yeah.
Rick
Oh,
Astley or
That was the
something.
Rick
Oh,
Astley
it's
cover.
Rick
but yeah.
Astley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Chuck Berry. Johnny Be
Hilarious.
Good is the song.
Yeah.
And Marty McFly is just covering a Chuck Berry song, Johnny Be Good. And then, which actually was funny is that, so at that timeline, it was 1955. The actual song, Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry, was released in 1958. So like the timeline kind of matches up a little bit. Which
That's
I think is
awesome.
Cool.
It's like the
Yeah.
perfect, like, quote unquote rowdy song for that too. Like
Right, exactly.
for what those people are used to, you know?
Yeah.
Right. I liked how at the beginning, like, people were really vibing with it, and then he starts shredding, and everyone's
Yeah.
like,
Smashing it up.
Just
And
staring
he's
at him
like, your kids are gonna love this one day. Yeah. So fun.
classic,
and
dude.
again, it's so much of just, you know, just playing around with the relationship of time travel and just being like, we're just, you know, like he has no fear of saying like your kids are gonna love this one day because he's just like, whatever. I don't know. It's just
He
so
knows.
Yeah.
He knows it's true. He
Yeah.
is their kids.
He is
right,
the kid.
exactly. And like it doesn't
The,
try to dissect that too much, which it shouldn't.
that ties back to the where he's Darth Vader and he wakes him up and stuff, and he's playing the music,
Mhm.
and he puts in the cassette and it says Edward Van Halen.
Yeah.
So apparently Van Halen wrote music for a different movie that was used in this movie, but the band Van Halen did not agree to that. It was only Eddie. So that's why it says Edward Van Halen and not just
Oh,
like
wow.
Van Halen.
Edward
or
all
anything
small
else.
in the corner.
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
it's
Let's
kinda
Let's get
weird.
away with it.
That was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That
That's
sound
really
or whatever was perfect for that.
hmm
Right, because it was like futuristic, but like, you know.
Yeah.
There's some
Really
good
really
theories about that scene. Some really.
That's
good
one
stuff.
thing. That one thing I was thinking about that I didn't see anything was like that he calls him Darth Vader. Like it's like two words that aren't normal that you would remember. And, like when he sees, I mean, I assume that he would see Star Wars. He's all in his science fiction novels and shit.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
he'd be like, "I've heard this name before." You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
So-
yeah.
You'd be like, what?
So what? So the way I saw a theory explains it. So Chad Dad George McFly,
Wrote it?
he didn't write it, but he
Oh, that'd have been cool.
he was they're in California, right? He's science fiction author. He's probably in big circles of sci-fi, right? He either pitched that idea to George Lucas, or he thinks that George Lucas was visited by the alien Darth Vader himself. So
Dude,
that's where they think of that.
Everything's
So
thought of. That's the
so
only thing I had.
McFly's kind of like, oh shit, they know that real shit. They been visited by him too. Like,
I
and
love
we're
how
just,
we're
I don't know. That's
plugging
kind of
each
interesting.
other's plot holes.
Yeah,
I
We're
know.
plugging each other's
That's what I'm
holes.
saying, dude. This movie.
There are two big scenes left in the movie that we have not talked about that we really need to go over. The scene about the clock tower and how Marty McFly needs to be at a particular point at a particular time because they know that the lightning is going to strike the clock tower at exactly 10:04 p.m. on that Saturday. A fun scene, really fun, you know.
Dude, it's so intense, even though you know it's gonna
It
work
was
out.
intense.
So intense.
at every point, there was never a doubt in my mind that it was not going to work out. And I was just thinking, I was like, is Doc Brown going to just be like stretching his arms out and like being the connection for the electricity to go through to 1 gigawatts, which
Well-
kind of happened, but
Can you imagine watching this movie in the times in 1985, having no idea what it is that you're about to see?
Yeah.
That intensity of like, what if he didn't make it happen? I mean, maybe that wasn't a common thing.
Or what
Like, I
if
feel
he
like-
died in the process? You know.
Yeah,
well, and in
exactly.
hindsight, we know that there are 2 more movies, so but
Yeah, even
right.
knowing that, it was fucking intense.
yeah, no, it's still very intense for sure.
Yeah. So I'm saying not having any of that knowledge, and then, maybe in 2020 it's more common for certain like real. I think it's still a pretty niche thing where shows or movies will take a turn where the not good thing happens,
Yeah.
and then it's like,
It is
whoa,
for
that was
sure.
jarring, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe in the 80s that wasn't like a big thing, and it would have never been that way, but it still felt like, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
crazy. What if your mind is
And it takes so long, dude.
yeah.
He's
it was a
fumbling
long
with
time
these
movie.
things for fucking
Yeah,
ever.
I wanted to do like a timer. Like he's like, you got 7 minutes. And like, was it actually 7 minutes of the movie, or it felt like fucking 15?
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if it fucking was at this
Yeah.
point.
Totally.
Perfect.
I mean, plug it up.
That was James's plot hole. We need to
No.
pull
look
that
it up.
up. No, but I mean, and I think like if because we've been talking about 80s movies. Our last movie was RoboCop, and things just kind of work out. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of what happens in those movies, which is really cool. And to kind of touch on what Jay was saying about, there are the movies where they flip the script and we're like, oh, the things that you thought were going to work out are just not, because we've done that so much where everything just works out.
Mhm.
Which, again, for the time, I think this movie, everything worked out. To go even towards the end of the movie, everything worked out. I mean, for the better for everyone that we cared about, right?
Right.
Except for Biff, but
I mean, you could argue that Biff had a better life. He wasn't so full of anger, and he seemed like a pretty chill dude.
I would make an argument maybe against that, but he seemed like a miserable human being. But I feel like they just intentionally.
That's what I was saying. Dang, don't y'all feel bad? Kind of. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. You guys said fuck Biff, so
Yeah, Adrian, you said that.
yeah.
I just
feel you're fucking weird.
Well, I mean, like, he had to do a shitty thing. Like, he was polishing the car, and George was like on his case about it, but it wasn't in the same way as Biff, like literally beating the shit out of George for not doing something. Like, it's still a decent way to end up, and then became, like, happier,
But he was just so submissive. He was just so
sure,
like,
yeah,
yes, sir, no, sir, yeah. It was
totally. And I get to play what they're playing on, and I totally understand it makes sense. But
oh yeah, it wasn't like, yeah, for sure. So that was the one scene about the car scene, or excuse me, about the electricity hitting the clock tower, which was another thing I mentioned this earlier about the like slight foreshadowing, is when we were like first introduced to Marty and his girlfriend Jennifer's characters, where they're talking, there's like that protest about like save the clock tower because this is why. And like that's just another like very like you could hear them in the background talking about the clock tower.
Yeah.
And then when I was watching the movie, I was just like, this is important. I don't know why exactly yet, but you knew it was. And they again, brought it back because his girlfriend wrote her number on the back of the flyer for that.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of showed us, So
do you think that it kind of showed that things never changed? Because in like little background noises that you hear, like about the guy who's running for mayor, and it's like real change you can count on, or something like that. Like
progress is my middle name.
Yeah, progress is his middle name. Like that's the same like slogan that's happening like in 1985 and then in 1955, and then we just see a lot of mirrors in time, like with Marty's entire life and his family's entire life.
Right. Which is interesting that you bring up the point about, things being so
time is a flat circle. Flat circle, is that what they call it?
Dude, everything old is new again.
So Biff, the character Biff, the bully, was based off of I can't remember exactly who he was. He was like loosely based off of somebody with a similar name that had rejected them for something else prior. But Bob Gale, one of the original writers, or like the main original writer, said that he was also loosely based off of Donald Trump, which was
Oh,
like,
jeez.
I saw that, I was just like, that's so weird. That's so interesting that I was like, came back around. And again, I don't know if Bob Gale said that after, you know, Trump was elected, but
Right.
just interesting that kind of came too. So, okay, yeah. So the second scene that I said that we really need to talk about is when everything is hunky dory. We have Marty McFly back into the future, and his life is completely changed. Not his life, but his parents' life. He's like, Mom, you're
What
so
do you mean not his life? What? He's got the badass
weird is
fucking
that?
Toyota.
Not who he is personally at the time. He doesn't understand that yet.
Yeah.
But his mom is thin and not an alcoholic. His dad is a successful writer. His brother is managing some business where he wears a suit every day. His sister has multiple boyfriends or something where
Success, multiple boyfriends.
no, don't they mention that?
I
Like,
don't know. No,
In the
That's
beginning,
just-
she has
his older
no dates.
no, but his older brother says like,
That's
"Oh, like I
strange.
can't keep up with your boyfriends" or something
Oh,
like that.
Yeah,
He makes some kind of comment about that,
yeah.
which she's successful with men.
Oh.
But yeah, and then
And
you
also, Doc wore a bulletproof vest this time because he knew.
yes,
right.
yeah, very very big. He opened a letter that said, you know, don't open until
Dude, how
1985.
fucked is that? You think it happens again, and you're just like, damn it, all this for nothing.
Yeah.
I know.
What does
He
he
pulls
say
it.
after he like confronts Marty about it?
Where he's like, don't tell me about the future, or whatever. And then he's just
Yeah.
like, I just.
Well, no, but like,
basically, I don't
yeah,
remember like his
pretty much.
wording, but he was
like
like,
YOLO. Yeah,
Yeah.
so cool. And so
what the hell, I think he says.
right, and again, it's just like it's the 80s, like things are gonna go the way that you want them to and expect them to, and everyone
It's very satisfying.
yeah, everyone who watched this movie wanted Doc Brown to live. You know, you just did, even if you didn't. Well, maybe not.
I think that's okay, and I'm gonna go straight into it. I think that's one of my biggest gripes with this movie is that there felt like there was nothing at risk here. When you're fucking around with time, nothing truly
You know what
felt,
happens, right?
Nothing truly felt like vulnerable. I guess maybe just because I have prior knowledge on the movie and like you.
No, I'm just saying in the movie they
Yeah.
know what happens, so they can try to fix it, and then they just do fix it.
In what sense? Like they know what happens where?
Like how Doc gets shot or whatever. He knows, or Marty knows, so he tries to help him.
Yeah, but who's to say? I want to see. Now that you saved Doc's life, I want to see like 3 other people die because you fucked with time.
Because the guy
like,
he
I don't
bought
know,
the
nothing,
bulletproof vest
nothing
from got fucked up or something.
Yeah, nothing feels. Everything feels fixable, and like that's. I think that's where you get into this time. Yeah, that's where time travel gets muddled and confusing. But I think that's like a more realistic look at time. Like, right? Wouldn't that make more sense that when you're fucking around with time, shit's gonna happen and it's gonna be bad. This movie felt happy-go-lucky, honk-dory.
Fuck with time, your life's better now.
Yeah. Dude, that was like, what? Homie went back in time and literally won the jackpot because he didn't fuck his mom. That's cool. Like, like what the hell?
It's an optimistic 80s.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. I know, and
Yeah,
I'm over here playing devil's advocate. Like, I'm
No,
not looking for something all crazy. This is time. Oh no, I have to. Yeah, like. Okay,
but it's an interesting thing to think about in today's landscape, where like, as movies were made from the 80s to 2020, there was not a lot of that. Like those movies that everything worked out at the end became like cheesy, bad quote unquote bad movies, right?
Yeah, predictable.
Predictable, you know, it's old stuff, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Maybe people are more, I don't know, maybe people are less optimistic these days. I don't know what it is, but
We want the
for some
nitty
reason,
gritty. We want to see the death and despair.
give me the hard stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a fact of growing up with the internet, like the 80s, the internet wasn't really a thing.
Mhm.
I mean, it was becoming a thing for like universities and places where it was like a specialized, niche thing.
Yeah.
And as, we grew as a society or whatever, the internet spread. And, our generation is maybe I want to call us the first who grew up with like the real internet. You know what I mean?
What it is today, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
From its infancy to where it is now, which is probably not a great place. And maybe it was never a great place, but it feels worse,
The dark web.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think briefly we just need to talk about the last scene in this movie where we have Doc Brown in the DeLorean crashing back into Marty McFly's present time, where he says about, it's just like, again, like such a big quote, like he's talking to Marty and Lorraine, like it's not you, Marty, it's your kids, something's got to be done about your kids. And he's just saying like we need to go back to the future again. And it's just this
Dude.
fun way to just introduce a sequel, where I think that
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
I like that it
movie-
goes straight right into it. They don't
just
fuck
goes
around with it. They're
straight-
like, we're doing this again.
yeah. And
That's-
so, to talk, I mean, we talked in RoboCop about like memorable quotes in pop culture, and
Mhm.
this movie does not have a shortage of them.
Oh god, yeah.
1.21 gigawatts. It's got, roads where we're going, we don't need roads. Like there's a lot of things where you just know you've heard that. And
Mhm.
Great Scott.
Great
That's what
Scott.
he would
Yeah,
say,
it was
yeah.
a big term back in the 50s, and they brought it back in the 80s. But so it's just again, to go back, it's just such a fun movie where the end of the movie is just like, let's go on another adventure. And it doesn't have any consequence to what happened in this movie, but it just completely turns a new chapter and says,
That's what kind of sucks. There's no consequences.
no.
I think that sucks.
For me,
I don't know.
consequences.
I'm just. I think if I was if I was growing up in the '80s and I was a kid and I was into this shit, that would be the best fucking thing ever. Because nobody wants
Oh,
to see
yeah.
nobody die. But now that I'm an adult, show me the fucking nitty gritty. Show me the blood. Show
Dude.
me the tears.
In
Like, I don't know.
my-
Maybe that's just my style of like I really enjoy this movie. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Like, but it's just.
Appreciate
but
when it was made, when it was released.
Yeah.
What I'll say.
But what my personal reaction, personally, in 2020, whatever, the day I watched it, which was today,
yeah.
my reaction to the ending of the movie, like where we were going, we don't need roads, let's take off and fly.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I want to go again. Let's go.
Yeah.
Cue up the next
Yes.
one.
And I'm not even saying that I didn't. I ended the movie with a cheeser on my face.
Totally.
No lie.
Yeah.
No lie. But all I gotta say is I don't know if I'm watching this movie 100 more times. I'll show it to my kids, sure. I'll be like, you know what, this movie's sick. I think you guys will like it. I'll probably watch it a million times with them, But
Yeah.
like me personally, if I want to get into something that's more, I don't know. Maybe I'm just craving a drama, guys. Where's our dramas at? Put some recommendations in the comments.
Lightheartedness.
Like, I don't know maybe I'm craving something right now. Like,
All right. I think we are there where we need to jump into the reviews. How we felt about this movie, what we rated it on a scale of 1 to 10. I think I can go first this time. This movie was just a total blast from start to finish. There was, there could be the argument made that maybe this movie didn't super dive into complex topics about, social issues at the time, and maybe it didn't go into things, but this movie didn't want to. It didn't want to do that. It didn't need to do that. It was just a movie about like, let's just have fun with a very simple idea about how would a son be friends with their father, in high school, and it was just a very simple topic, and I loved that they created this humongous, again, one of the biggest sci-fi movies of all time, and just like from something that was such a simple topic. This movie was fun throughout. The pacing was phenomenal. There was very few times that I think that this movie was dry or dull. And, you know, maybe everything that you wanted to happen happened, and maybe there wasn't enough conflict or enough, you know, drama. But that's what they wanted. That's what they were going for. And so this movie, again, amazing. This is a solid 9.21 gigawatts for me. Yeah.
What?
Wow.
2 points?
Really, really great.
Okay.
Pretty good.
That's what I thought.
2 points.
Jay, let's see what you thought about the movie.
All right. Well, I understand where James is coming from, where maybe it's the fact that like our last movie was a cheesy 80s movie, and before that, like it was Groundhog Day, and we're not exactly out of this like comedy scheme, and you know,
Yeah.
the drama is maybe missing.
I don't.
But
Yeah.
don't. It's not gonna like taint my rating, but like hearing you say that, I understand where you're coming from. But I didn't miss it in this movie, right? Like it was really, really fun. It was a really fun movie. The sci-fi was great. Like the graphics, I mean, you know, they have that nostalgic feel to them. They're really cool, really old. The concepts, you know, they really hit me hard. Like the fear of not being like good enough, or being afraid of like trying, things like that, you know, that maybe it was just resonating with me at the time. I don't know.
Sure.
I like that.
I'm in Adrian's camp where it's like it feels like a really high rating. Like I need to give it a high rating, you know. I don't know if I'm gonna give it a 9.21, but I think I'm gonna give it like a 9. A 9 feels
I
good.
respect that, dude. I respect it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's
All
good.
right. So we have a 9.21 gigawatts on the
I
line.
hate it. I hate 2 points. All right, I'll go next. I'll go next. But before, I just
me,
wanted to
Tam.
ask one thing. It could be yes or no. We don't have to get into it. I just want to know, do you guys
No.
remember the Back to the Future ride at Universal Studios?
We didn't talk about that. I rode that ride, and I don't.
There's
Again,
a
Maybe.
There's an HD video of the whole ride on YouTube. I watched it and I was like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!"
I was
That's all I
too
needed
young
to
to
say.
like remember it, but
Maybe,
yes,
maybe
I remember
we'll watch
the
it
car
together.
moving, and watching it, I could kind of like remember things, but it was fucking cool. That's all I wanted to say.
But let's watch it together on YouTube in the after party. Let's do this.
yeah, straight
Straight
up.
down for that.
Okay, so, dude, this movie is so much better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I'd seen it before, and I was like, yeah, it's whatever. But, like, watching it again, I had a fucking cheeser smile on my face the whole time.
Every
The whole time.
Yes.
No, the whole time. The whole fucking time. Like, everything just felt so good about it. Like, nothing was, like, wrong with it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, all these plot holes we keep talking about. Like, everything just felt so thought out and, like, just perfect. Like, it was so good. Like, I don't know, the acting was great. All that stuff was awesome. I was gonna give it an 8.9, but you guys are making me feel bad. I was like, it has to be a 9. 9.
A 9. Okay.
9.0.
Two
Okay.
nines. 2 9s.
Join the club, brother.
9.2s.
Yeah. All right, James.
Oh,
Let us hear it.
Don't fuck this up.
guys. guys. It's a 1.21 gigawatt. And that's my review. All right, see you guys later. Let's take some shots. No. I agree with you guys. This was a fun movie. I had a great time watching it. I feel like I've watched this movie a few times before, and I don't honestly know if I have in the entirety. I think it's so culturally relevant today. Today and back in the day, and it's going to be into the future. It's going to be relevant, and we're all going to hear those things, those where we're going, we don't need no roads or anything like that. Like, those are so cool little quotes. But the fucking graphics, dude, I want
What?
to go and take my truck and put fucking gasoline on my tires and catch them on fire. Like I want to do that shit. Like that fucking
Talking about the trail leaves
yeah, the
behind?
trail leaves
So
behind.
good.
That's like the coolest shit ever. I want to do that like right now. Let's go. Let's go do some protesting. Let's do that shit. Like
Oh my god.
let's get down on this. But I don't know. Time travel movies, guys. Time travel movies. It's just
This is a better one for
it's
sure.
it's a better one. I think one of the bigger plot holes for me is just like, how do you have a kid that you named after a kid you met back in the days and you don't realize that it's the same exact kid? Like what's
the last one that I didn't bring up, and the writer
Tell
fucking
me.
fixed it. I don't know if you want me to do it now
Really?
or whatever.
Most people don't remember anybody past 10 years.
Yeah, basically. But I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't fucking remember what they
Is
look
that really
like.
what he said?
But it's also
That's
funny
like-
because
I don't know. That's
it's
a big
addressed
cop.
in a Family Guy skit where it's like the dad remembers, and it's like, you think I would have noticed because he thinks that she slept with him. or something.
Oh, controversial.
Yeah,
That's what I
I
was.
thought that was funny as fuck. But I agree. I don't know. I don't fucking remember people that I went to high school with, like their faces that I
But-
didn't
well,
talk to.
But like
They
you
were-
wouldn't,
okay,
you wouldn't
they knew
remember
them
that
for
one.
8 days. 8 days of their whole life, and they didn't even see them every day that whole time.
But he
Like you wouldn't
okay.
remember that.
introduced you to the
I get
person that you're gonna spend the rest of your life with. I think you
True.
remember that. I think you remember your
true.
dad. Your dad hit somebody
'cause
with
they're
a
like,
car. I
Marty,
think
that's
you
like the
remember
name.
that,
I
right?
like the
Like
name, Marty.
30
Yeah.
years.
I
Like
mean,
you remember that. Marty's
It's
a fucking name. That's just like
Well,
what? Come on,
I-
guys.
Our situation is real unique, right? That's what all of our parents constantly tell us. Like, I can't believe you guys have been friends all these years. Where our friend group has friends who have been friends for 20 years or
Yeah.
more.
They don't got Facebook to fucking see their face every once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. And
You're
maybe
not gonna
that's
remember
true.
that shit.
That's
And he's
just-
not
I
in
don't
the
know.
yearbook. He's not anywhere.
I don't know.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Before we go too far into this, James,
Okay.
where are you at? Where do you?
Where am
rate
I
this?
at? Where am I at? Hey, I had a good time with you guys. I think I wanted. I don't know. I get it. Look at it for the time. I understand that, but it's like an 8.5 for me. It's,
Okay.
Solid.
It's good movie. It's a B. I think it's a classic. It's up there with some of the greatest movies ever. But it's just I don't. Yeah, how do you not remember the dude that
All
is
right.
your sad? I don't know.
No, I respect it.
And that's a review.
So, I rated this movie a 9.21. Jay and Taryn rated it a 9, and James rated it. What was it? An 8.5?
Yeah.
Just that, yeah. So collectively, we are at an 8.9, right around there. So around a 9, which
We just
Very
missed the
good.
Hall of
Pretty
Fame.
good.
We just missed it.
It's pretty good.
respectable movie. This
I'll
movie
push it. It's okay. I'm just kidding.
was a lot of fun. I would give it a couple more gigawatts to bring it up to a 9, but yeah, we would love to know what you guys think of this movie, how you rated it, what you think this movie has done for film, from the 80s and beyond. And yeah, just email us, let us know what movies that you're interested in watching us play, or excuse me.
Hey,
do
so what's that email again? Where are they gonna?
Our email is going to be at filmfumblers@gmail.com. You can find us at YouTube, youtube.com/filmfumblers. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram at filmfumblers. Pretty much just Google filmfumblers. You will stumble upon us.
Fumble upon us.
Fumble upon us, yeah.
Ooh.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. For those of you who are watching us live, stay tuned for the after show where we will decide what movie we are going to do next. So, yeah, thanks so much, everyone, and have a phenomenal night/day. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive.